Today I just want to take you to my first impression of using Claude 3.5 Sonnet. So basically I thought we could just try to code a game in React with 3.5. So this means that we can kind of text out this artifacts feature too. I kind of want to create a kind of an interactive game, and I want to add sprites from Midjourney. I want to add in some music from Suno, maybe Udio, add some sound effects from 11 Labs, and put all of that together only by using 3.5 Sonnet. Can I call me a game dev after that? Let's see how this works out. And at the end, I kind of want to do my quick first impressions of working with Claude 3.5 Sonnet. Let's just get going. Okay, so let me just walk you quickly through kind of my game idea. So basically, I want this kind of boxing glove here, right? So we can just, do something like this. So let's just call it a red boxing glove. I want kind of the ball just to sit on top of the glove, right? So we have this ball here. And yeah, we need some kind of box, and I kind of want clicks. So we can kind of count the number of clicks, right? From the mouse or the, I guess the iPad or something. And I kind of want the height to be displayed. So we want to count that, right? Let's say we have 0, we have maybe 10, I don't know what value. And the idea is, let's say if you have 3 seconds to kind of click as many times as you can here, and the more times you click, the more power we generate up here, and the higher the ball will go. So it's basically some kind of skill game, but I kind of want to scale it. So if you can click more times, you will get more power, and the ball will fly higher. So yeah, we want to implement some real physics. I was thinking maybe adding some kind of balloons here with water in them, so we can fly through those. We'll see. But that is basically the idea for the game. So let's see if we can transfer this over to Claude 3.5 Sonnet and kind of into our game. Yeah, so okay, so I went ahead, I cleaned kind of up the UI how I wanted. So let's just grab like kind of a screenshot of this now, right? So let's just copy our screenshot here, and then we can head over to Claude, right? Let's kind of start a chat, and let's call it something like, I don't know, the punch game, right? So let's start with that. Okay, so I just want to start by pasting in the UI I want for this. I think this might be a bit much to take on right away, but I want to try it and see kind of where we can go from there. So let me just come up with my prompt now, and then we can see kind of where we can go from, if this is too much to do or if you have to break down into smaller steps. But let's give it a shot then. Okay, so I'm just going to read out the prompt. If you want to skip it, that's fine. But yeah, I want to create a game in React. I have uploaded a simple sketch of an UI as an image. Yeah, like we did here. On a high level, the game should work as follows. The user aims the glove at the ball with the mouse movement and clicks the mouse as many times as possible in 3 seconds. For each click, more power is generated. When the timer runs out, the boxing glove punches the ball with the amount of built-up power. The ball will of course travel the longer, the more power it gets punched with. The UI will track the number of clicks and height of the ball in real time. The aim of the game is simple: punch the ball as high as possible. On a lower level, we have some more important details regarding the physics of the game. Okay, so this is a bit important because this is kind of what makes the game, right? So number 1, the ball must behave with real physics, aka gravity. The weight of the ball is around 315 grams. That's kind of like a soccer ball. Number 2, the weight of the boxing glove is 300 grams. The impact angle of the glove on the ball will of course reduce or improve the power transferred from the glove to the ball. Kind of like a hitbox style. Air resistance will also affect the ball, right? So let's start by writing the first iteration of the punch game. So kind of now I want to focus on the mechanics. We'll fix the UI later, so add sprites and stuff. So now I just want to see where this takes us, and is this too much? Is this kind of the right amount of instructions? It might be a bit too much. We might have to break it down to smaller steps. But yeah, let's just find out. Okay, so let me zoom in a bit here. So now we basically have the game mechanics. So we can start the game by clicking here. Okay, so we have to click as fast as you can. So we're going to count the clicks. So boom, you can see we simulated the ball. It went 94 meters. And then it kind of came down again. Ball punched 2. Okay, so we didn't record that. So we might have to fix that. So let me try to fix that. We need to store how high we actually punch the ball before we kind of move into the UI visual part, right? Okay, so to kind of do that, I just we need to store how high the ball traveled in. So I kind of find the line of the code here. So that's ball punch to kind of the ball height, right? As displayed to the max height of the ball. So we kind of want to keep that variable stored in our display here. So we can kind of see how actually high we managed to punch it. So you're right, we should track the maximum height of the ball, reaches, yeah. So that's good. So let's see if we can implement this feature. So now we can kind of see how high did we actually punch it. So let's try it again. So start the game, click as fast as you can, 3 seconds, and boom. Okay, so we just got a static, but that's fine. So hopefully with this, yeah. So now you can see we got ball punch to a maximum height of 98.24. So yeah, that's pretty good. I think I'm kind of happy with the game state here now. So let's try to move on and actually create the UI for this now. Because yeah, we want the glow, we want the ball, we want to see it, right? So let's try to do that. Okay, so then I moved on to kind of great job. Now that we have our physics simulation engine, let's move on to the UI part. I want to see the boxing glow, the UI as we sketched it in the image, right? With the physics simulation engine to power the game. Can you write the first iteration of the UI for a punching game? So let's try that. Okay, so we got something back here. This looks interesting. So let me see now. So I want to click start game. I can't move the boxing glow. I almost couldn't click. Okay, so that's, yeah, that seemed to work pretty good. 450, that was quite high. That seemed a bit high, but yeah, we don't have any way to restart the game. So let's try that again. So we start it, we click, and boom, here goes the ball, 588. Okay, that's a good start, but I think we can improve on this. Okay, so let's do some incremental adjustments. So I just took a screenshot of what we have so far. Okay, good start, but let's make some changes. I want the starting point of the ball to be right over the boxing glow, hovering in the air. I also want to be able to move the boxing glow with the mouse horizontally. Let's up the timer to 5 seconds. Okay, so now let's try it. So, okay, perfect. So we can move this. You can see the timer going down. I'm clicking. So let's try to hit an angle here. Okay, so you can see that travel to the left, right? So that's perfect. Okay, so we need a reset game button, I think. Other than that, this is looking great, to be honest. So let's add a few more things. And yeah, I kind of want to move the timer, I think, below the box. And let's add a reset button. So basically, a few more things. I want to add the UI timer below the box and add a reset game button. Yes, that looks perfect. So now let's try it. So let's start this. So I want to kind of test what is going to impact the height if I click now around 25 clicks. So this was a bit of an angle, so that was 858. Now let's try to hit the ball straight on with 26 clicks and see if it goes higher than 858. So that is kind of try to check our physical engine, right? So it was 26, 8. Okay, so yeah, I can't really remember. So we got 30 meters longer, but that's fine. Doesn't matter too much. Okay, so I'm very happy with this. I think we can actually just move on now and start adding some more UIs to this. I want to add some sprites from Midjourney and kind of make it look a bit nicer. So I'm happy with the code. I want to move this project into my VS Code. So let's start by creating a React app for this using VS Code and the terminal. So let's just run this and hopefully we will get this, create a React app, right? And then we can kind of initialize it and maybe install some Tailwind and stuff and see where this can take us. So that was pretty quick. That was a fast answer. So yeah, we want to create our app. So let's just copy this. Let's head over to our VS Code Studio. I just created a new folder. So let's just call it Punch Game, right? So let's fire up this and kind of get our React app installed here. It's going to take a few seconds, maybe a couple of minutes. So let's just let this run. Okay, so that was finished. Now let's head back to Claude. Let's cd into our project, right? Let's clear that. Let's go back here and let's see. Okay, so we have opened that, right? And now we kind of want to replace our app.js in source. So I'm just going to copy this code here. Let's head back here. Let's fold this down. Source app.js. Let's replace this, right? Okay, good. And now we kind of want to install some Tailwind here. That's fine. Let's go back here, install some Tailwind. And let's grab this, right? Okay, just a few steps here. Should be pretty quick. Okay. Now we want to go into our tailwind config.js. So let's open that. We can find this, replace that, save it, right? Good. Replace the components of source index.css. We can do that. Let's just find here and let's bring that on top, right? Okay, great. Very good step-by-step explanation here by Sonnet 3.5. Make sure index.css is imported, right? So we can copy this, paste in that, right? Save it. Okay, so that should be all set up. Only what we need now is to kind of, get our code into this. So we can just go, how should I implement our game code into the React app in VS Code, right? Pretty easy step. Okay, so we should go to our source folder. We should name it punchgame.js, right? So let's do that. So let's go to source, new file, punchgame.js, right? Okay. So in the artifacts section here now, we have something called code here. So we can just copy that. Pretty simple to use, actually. Let's head back to our VS Code Studio. Let's save our punch game. And let's see if there was any other instructions. Maybe we should update our app.js. We can do that. App.js. Let's update that. That looks good. I think we actually are ready to run now. So let's stop this. Clear npm start, right? And let's fire up our port 3000 and see if we have our game here. Yes, perfect. So we can start it. We can click and this should work pretty good. And boom, here we go. So the next part now is of course gonna be to do some adjustments, get some sprites, and let's make this game a bit more interesting. Okay, so the next prompt is gonna be great. Now let's start adding some sprites to the game. I want to add a sprite to the ball sprite PNG, and the boxing glow sprite PNG. I've uploaded the image so we can test the code here before moving to VS Code. Implement the first iteration of the sprite addition to the game, please. So I went to Midjourney. I created this sprite, so I kind of wanted this Pokeball here as the ball, and I created this glow. I thought it was pretty cool. So I went over to Canva. I added this here, so we're gonna download this with transparent background, right? Okay, so that's the first sprite. Here's the ball sprite. So let's download this with the transparent background, right? Check that out. And that should be our sprite. So we can go back to Claude. Let me just upload these images. Okay, so we have our sprites here. They don't look transparent, but I think they are. So let's just run this now and see, can we get these sprites into our code? Okay, so we have our code back here. So yeah, I think this should work. You can see there's a bug here now. We don't see the images, but that should be a pretty easy fix because we have to ensure that our ball sprite PNG, glow sprite PNG are placed in the public folder in your React project, right? So basically, let's head over to VS Code Studio. So if we update our React app now, you can see we have this, but we don't have the images. So what we can do, we have to move these two images here into our public folder, right? So move that, right? And let's compile that. And I think we should be good to go now. So let's refresh. Yes, perfect. So now you can see we have our sprite, we have our boxing glove. We can fire up this, and this should move that Pokeball, right? Yeah, but that's pretty static. Let's try to make the ball rotate the sprite rotate, and let's make it a bit bigger. So let's try to do that over here on Claude, right? So let's just try that works. For more immersion, let's add some new features. I want the ball sprite to rotate in alignment with the physics engine. Also make the ball and glow sprite 50% bigger. So let's try to run that and see if that could create a bit more immersion than this. This is a bit static, right? Okay, so we have our code back here. So let's just copy the code. Let's head back to VS Code Studio. Let's replace this, right? Let's compile it and let's go to our React app. Let's refresh this. Okay, so you can see it's bigger, but we have to move the ball a bit. But let's see if the ball rotates now if we punch it. Yeah, perfect. So that's pretty cool. So that gives a bit more immersion. You can see it's spinning around here, but that's fine. So we can reset the game. Let's just move the ball a bit higher, and I think we should be pretty much good to go. We have to add some backgrounds, and that's pretty much our simple game, right? Okay, so I'm pretty happy now. I want to add some final touches. So let me add some punching sounds to be played when the timer runs out. So that's going to be punch mp3 and some background music mp3. Let's write the first iteration of our code, please, and write the full new updated code. So the next step then is going to be to create this punching sound, and we need some background music, and we have tools for that. Now, of course, we can just head over to... So I went to 11 Labs, the sound effects library. I just did punching sounds. So I kind of did this one, so let's have a quick listen. I think that was pretty good. And I went to Suno, and I just put in like 8-bit Nintendo style video game track, chill music. And I found this one. I think I like this one. That's pretty catchy, right? So let's try to implement those two things into our game for even more immersion. So yeah, so let's see how this goes. Okay, so we have our code here. So I'm just gonna copy the code. Let's head back to VS Code Studio. So let me paste in this. And there's a few more things we have to do, right? We have to actually place our files into the correct folder. So let me just set that up and let's see if it worked. Okay, so I moved the mp3 files here into a public folder. So let's compile that. Let's go back to our React app. Let's refresh this and let's hear it now. I don't know, the volume might be pretty loud, so let's hope it's not too loud. Okay, so that's working. Let's hear the punching sound. Couldn't hear it. Okay, so you heard the punching sound was way off. So let's try to adjust that and turn the volume down maybe like... I think we're gonna turn the volume down like 25% or something. So let's do a few changes. Turn down the volume 25%. Also, timing on the punch was way off. It should play exactly when the 5-second timer runs out. Implement these changes. Write the full updated code, please. So yeah, we are almost done, I think. So let's see if we can do these final tweaks and see if it works. Okay, so let's try it again now. See if that worked. So let's try. Okay, so the music is lower. That's good. So let's see this punching sound now. Oh, that was way off. Okay, so I actually think there's an async problem here. So let's try... the punching sound must be async, I think. It's not on point now, so I tried that. And then we got this code. So let me just copy that and see if that worked. Okay, so let's compile that. Okay, so start the game. Let's refresh this. Let's click. Hopefully this works now. Yes, perfect. Okay, so I'm happy. So I think the final thing I kind of want to do is actually add some kind of background. So I was looking at something like this. Okay, so I kind of ended up with this background image. So this is kind of the Pokemon looking up and we got the big blue sky, right? Okay, so I tried to upload our background image. That did not work because we couldn't upload more than 5 images. So that is kind of a minus. There might be some workarounds on that, but I decided just to open a new chat. So I just uploaded the game code, the background image. I want to implement the background to my game. Adjust the code to dynamically show the full version of the image. Keep the canvas setting as it is now. So let's just try that because I kind of want to keep the canvas as steady as possible, not to ruin up the whole game now. So let's just run this and see if this is gonna work right. Okay, so that seemed to work fine. So let's see now. I did a few more changes. Yes, we implemented the background image. That worked pretty good. I wrote a few new code. I wanted to change the font color to black because it was kind of white on blue, so we couldn't really see it. So we got that. And the final change I made, I just want to play the background music in a loop, so it's not affected by the start or reset game. That kind of brings you out of immersion, right? And that is pretty much it. So I kind of think our game is finished now. And let's fire it up one last time. Let's play it a bit and see kind of how it works. Let's see how high I can actually get the ball to fly up in the air. Okay, so let's compile this. We can hear the music playing in the background. And let's just play the game a bit and let me see how high I can get this. Okay, so I'm just gonna click. So how much was that? 33. So that was 1130. So let's reset. And let me try again. I'm so slow at this. 37. So 12, 12, 2, 9. I think I'm gonna call it there. So yeah, I'm kind of happy how this turned out. We could have added the music more and stuff, but yeah. I like the sprites, I kind of like the aesthetics, and we have some kind of skill here, right? So yeah, pretty cool. So let me just stop this and let's do kind of a wrap up here. Overall, this was a very smooth experience running 3.5 Sonnet, trying to create this simple game with React. I love the artifacts feature. I think that's gonna bring a lot of people over to Anthropic. It's great to see this visual component on the code you are working on, so that's a big props, right? They don't have the code interpreter feature yet, so you can't actually execute scripts inside of the browser. I think they will add that soon, to be honest. The pros were kind of everything I had said now. It's smooth, it's quick, it does coding very well. I would say it's kind of the best experience I have so far, at least with coding. So I think they upped the notch a bit there, at least on GPT-4 level, right? And the cons is kind of the rate limit, because you don't have that many requests, even though I'm paying $20. Hope they can improve that soon. And I could only upload 5 images. That was a bit annoying because I tried to be very visual here in this game creation process. So another con was that we can only upload 5 images. But we solved that by opening a new chat, so there's a workaround there, I guess. But overall, my first impressions are great and very smooth experience working with 3.5, but I got some more exploring to do before I can kind of come back with my conclusion. So I'm gonna be maining this for a few weeks now going forward, and we can talk about it later. I'm gonna be using the API too, so look out for that. Other than that, thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this kind of in-depth step-by-step process creating, yeah, kind of a simple React game, but some deep features, I think. So hope you took something from it. Come back for Wednesday, I hope, for more stuff like this. Like and subscribe, give it a comment if you enjoyed this model too. And yeah, see you again soon.